Hello everyone, and welcome back to D&D with WhatTeamComp. I am your host, the Uncommon Guru, our chaotic DM. I am joined once again, back again, with my good friends here. We have Zarkbarts, who is playing Aurelius, the human fighter paladin.
Piter? Faladin?
He said Faladin. I like Faladin.
No!
Faladin?
No, I like Faladin.
The Faladin?
Sounds like phallic.
Yes.
Yes, it does.
Yes, it does. We have Mary, who is playing Genevieve, aka Fidget, the human fighter warlock.
That'd be me.
The fight lock, if you will.
The fight lock. I am a fight lock. No, I'm a battle lock.
Battle lock.
Ooh.
Sounds like a fucking discount version of the Thunderdome.
I'm a battle lock.
She's like,
Welcome to the
if you
battle
call
lock.
now, you can get one battle lock absolutely free.
We have Paris, who's playing Serenity, our Azamar barbarian.
Meh.
Every fucking time.
You have one joke.
It's a good
I have
joke.
one
though.
joke, and guess what? It still makes him laugh. So until it doesn't, frick you.
I can't stop laughing at it. It's goofy. And we have Kendall, who's playing Artemis, our half-elf artificer wizard.
I have escaped the child leash.
No! No! Not again!
Run, Kendall, run!
She's gonna go back up on the. She's gonna go back up on the roof. God damn it!
Not again.
It's not that hard of a climb at icebergs.
It really isn't. But that being said, we last left off post wave break bonanza, if you will, where you've survived the 3 days you were required to, broke into Iceberg's winery, and have proceeded to eat 2 sides of bacon, effectively. whole sides, just full on pork. Had many bits of toast, and just
Spa day.
had a spa day. Yeah, just kind of relaxed and enjoyed yourself, or had funny bits happen.
You leave me and my explosions alone.
That was Crazy's fault. Artemis was trying to tell him what to do, how to do it correctly.
Are you sure?
Crazy
Are you sure considering the admittance of guilt just now?
No, shush, we're blaming crazy.
Let me give Kendall and
An
turn
out.
Artemis the out.
And if I recall correctly, we are going to make our way to the collective meeting hall, or presumably, assuming no one has anything else they need to do.
I mean, Serenity's just gonna explain this shit to Aurelius after this, unless he outright asks her.
Which stuff?
That whole bit with Evictus
Ah, yeah.
and her rushing out of the spa.
Oh, that. You know, when you see Aurelius next, he looks way too, clean cut for his personality.
He looks
Just
dressed
wrong.
up. He looks good. He looks
This is illegal.
like a different man.
You can see that he has a nice ass.
Stop! You violated the law!
I mean, what was it? Ember kept talking about it, so it must be good.
Just gotta get a peek. Nice.
More than a peek.
She kept telling him to lay back down.
She got a crumb, she wanted the whole loaf.
Anyways, anything else we need to do before initiation? Haha. Sorry, I am going to go gremlin with this.
I don't know why, when you laughed, I'm like, the initiation must involve fire.
You'll see.
Sorry if I don't respond. I'm eating. I'm starving.
You
Oh,
are
no, fucking me too, man.
I'm ready.
So,
Let's go.
going through the basement and the tunnels again, among which you will find that there are a few people who are wearing like basically just scarves, the way that a fidget would wear. But you get it. It's most likely to avoid any stench, of which there is none that you all can smell, which either means it's been scrubbed clean, or that there is no stench and they're doing it for some other reason. It might be because of the fact that they're being made to clean up the remains of the creatures that made their way into the tunnels. Effectively, they're body bagging them and taking them away. Although there are a number of them that, as you're kind of walking past them, that look like they're in a state of reset rigor mortis. And most of the expressions appear to be ones that look to be like in this almost hands up raised to defend themselves against something that clearly did not work to protect them. Aurelius and Serenity, you would both have an idea of something that this could be, both being from more clerical orders. This has the impression to you of destroy dead.
Oh dear.
It appears these creatures ran afoul of clergy, and doing clergy things, they put these creatures back to rest, as it were.
So she just
Probably-
looks at this, looks at Aurelius, looks back, just like... Interesting.
This is probably the only good thing that the clergy has done today.
I'm sure they've done more than that.
I'm very tired. I'm sorry, after all that. Holy shit. Like, my back feels like it exists.
It exists!
It's always hard to acknowledge body parts.
Have you ever, like, realized how little of your back you can feel? Until... Like, how did they do that?
With about 1,000 needles.
Anyways.
I mean, you see him picking a needle out of his back. They left some in my back.
How did...
Yeah.
She's just staring at him.
Artemis will stare at him too, and then start to circle around to his back. Is his shirt on now, or can she see all of his back?
His shirt's on, so she can't see all of his back.
Cool. She's lifting up his shirt to see if there's any more needles.
I love
He's
how
not-
just unceremonious she is.
Are there any more?
There are no needles that are left in their back. Although, based off the way that they are reacting, they quite possibly, either in a rush to get out or such, might have removed them ineffectively. Because there are a few spots that are like a little swollen.
Artemis will just very daintily touch his back and use Cure Wounds.
It helps to alleviate some of the stress. You would guess that it is not healed. There is still a soreness there, and will likely need some kind of salve to kind of help the healing process. It's mostly just sore rather than hit point pain, as it were.
Yeah. It's like when you get out of bed and you have like that little bit of muscle pain type of thing. Because you've been sleeping on a particular muscle.
Artemis will put his shirt back down. Sorry, I don't like incorrectly done medical procedures.
Okay.
It's a soft voice.
His voice!
He just looks over to Serenity and Ember and just like shrugs, like, "What? Okay." What?
Serenity just shrugs back.
Ember like puts a hand to her chest and like leans forward. She's a professional.
I'm a what?
A
Professional.
professional.
What did you just accuse me of being?
A professional. She blinks at you like blink like batting her eyes at you.
The other confusion and minor offense that is on Artemis's face right now.
Why do you look offended at being called a professional?
Because she is not.
She most certainly is not. But
And you're like, I don't have my doctorate. What do you mean?
Wait a minute. If you're not a professional, then why are you paying attention to the medical procedures anyway? We need to get an actual professional in here.
Isn't Velinor technically a professional?
Velinor, get over here.
We're in, guys.
We're still
we
moving.
gotta-
We're still moving. Don't worry. Breathe.
You don't need to be a professional to know how to fix things. I
Not
wasn't
everything
allowed to
needs
get
to
any
be
good degrees.
What's a degree?
It's a measure of temperature.
She's right, you know.
Oh, even with that, Fidget's laughing underneath her scarf.
Serenity has her face in her fucking hands.
Aurelius has the stare on his face. You know the one. It's that Donald Trump fucking arrested face.
Oh my god!
I apologize for nothing. I'm in a mood today. Nothing can stop me.
The gremlinism has taken us all.
So we all arrive at the place, and I imagine by this point, everyone's just kind of vibing.
Effectively, yeah. It is once again the kind of stadium kind of feel to it, where you have the, not bleachers, but like the seating around the edge and the big podium in the center. Allowing
So
you to-
a court.
a court, effectively.
Yeah.
It's the same one where you guys went up onto the stand to run the trial before, but you get the sense that this is for more than just trials, but for other things as well. Along the way as you are entering, there are other people who are there. Some people who look like they are like being like woken up as if they slept on the chairs and benches here. They're sort of like waking up and then kind of like, you know, sitting up with all the decorum of someone who's like, I was never asleep. And then there's a person you hear just like, wake up, and you hear boom, 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 as you watch as the person on the other side of the room just go down the stairs. And then they stop and they lift themselves up, like look up at the person just like trying so hard not to laugh, but they are failing mercifully as they are just doubled over laughing as the person comes up and just kind of like I'll throw you, stop laughing, stop funny.
Aurelius is like laughing to himself a little, like quietly,
Of course.
watching that.
I would take it like Fidget, Midnight, Tank, Ember split off from the group at this point.
If you want to, you can take
Collective.
them with you.
Well,
There's seating enough by where Von Sterling is seated for you to take the group if you wish. They're still technically still under your umbrella, as it were.
okay. Fidget will motion over to where Von Sterling is, going, you guys can stay out here and just kind of watch, or you guys are under my protection. She does like finger quotes. If you'd like to come sit over here with the rest of the collective.
I'll sit with you. I don't really know people.
Serenity plops down by Fidget.
I feel like Aurelius would go to say something, and then Ember would just drag him anyway.
Like he's like, nah, yeah, I'll go sit. And Amber just like hooks her arm into his, like, we're up to Stephen Sterling. We're going to see the boss, the boss, the boss, the boss, the boss, the boss. He's just like, what the fuck? As he just dragged away.
Aurelius gives off the look of I'm being held against my will.
Oh yeah, totally against your will with Ember. Totally.
Like Aurelius is like just letting it happen, but he's kind of like, help, fuck, what's going on? Me, I'm fucking down for this shit.
Artemis is just kind of curiously people watching as this whole ceremony goes on. She's very curious about this organization. Especially since there's the option of all of them joining. So she's just observing everyone. Very curiously. And very cautiously.
Of course. Giving you a sense of looking around, making sure everything is just so. As you arrive in the area, one second here.
Would you like less seafaring music?
Yes, please.
Do you want orchestral guitar or dark and ominous?
We're not dark and ominous just yet.
Italian.
Cinematic and orchestral.
Ooh. Gives me some heavy film noir vibes. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I'll ask you to link that to me at some point.
Of course.
As you go and you take your seats, you do note that there's one among the group with Van Sterling who is noticeably unsettled and noticeably uncomfortable.
Is it Teddy?
Of course it's Teddy. As he has been seated directly next to Von Sterling, in the most opportune place to do harm, but in also the most opportune place to be harmed.
Is there a seat next to Teddy?
There is.
Fidget will sit right down next to him.
He doesn't acknowledge you with any politeness for the first moment he sees you. It's a reflex. This man is taught himself to reflexively immediately have aggression towards you.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a lash out. It's just he has a face of not disgust, but just how dare you. And then reprocesses what he has done and almost turtles into himself a bit. Not fully, but in a way where you can see his shoulders pull forward and he pulls his head into himself just enough that you know he is visibly uncomfortable. He's never been great at hiding his emotions, but this is a whole new level of losing his cool.
Yeah, the moment Fidget watches his whole demeanor change, she doesn't acknowledge him, but the others around her just see a smile spread across her lips. Not a happy one, almost a slightly twisted smile.
Sadistic.
Very.
Quite. I see you've made it back alive and all that stuff.
We did. Did you have a good time with Von Sterling?
Serenity can't stop herself from snorting.
He flinches at the snort, glares at Fidget, and then again flinches and glances quickly, and then looks away quickly from Von Sterling, who doesn't acknowledge him. Is just looking straight ahead with full, complete control, and you would guess that he is completely aware of everything going on around him, but he doesn't tilt his head much at all. Just kind of listening to the ambiance of people settling in. It was enlightening.
Well, buckle in there, Teddy. You got a lot to learn.
His lip curls again into that snarl and that reflexive action.
The moment that happens, she kind of lifts a finger and goes, ah.
And again,
I've got more power here than you now.
He flinches again and then kind of squints at you with this. It's malicious, angry, frustrated. And you see Von Sterling raise a finger slowly, just in his peripherals enough that he sees it. He kind of turns like, huh? Sees Von Sterling's finger. Doesn't look at Teddy, just looking straight ahead. You would do well to acknowledge a whisper. With all due respects, Tedric. And Tedric's green skin pales. He understands the implication, and no matter how he is introduced, he's not on that level. You do, in pretty much every state, outrank him except for one, and he's not getting that here.
Not here, nope.
No, not here.
And she'll kind of when he pales, she'll bat her eyelashes at him innocently before turning to watch the room.
Majestic. And you note that there's this is underground, and there's again the bleachers that have been made and such, but there's also an upper area that looks like almost like rafters of a theater and such. And it's early enough in the day, but you see them some people lighting candles and such, which at first you're kind of watching that's an interesting little thing to be doing. And you see them set the flame to the candles and whatnot, and then put it behind a bowl, a dish, if you will, that has a bit of glass, and they turn it, and you see just a spotlight just whip across and land on the stadium. You're like, oh, this is far more theatrical than a courtroom, meaning that this is become a show. Very showy, very
much
flashy.
so.
Yes. As Iceberg has it lock onto him. He came in with you all, let you all go off on your own, but he stayed at the top of the stairs until the light rests upon him and his affiliates who stand on either side of him before he begins walking down, cane clacking on each step. People are still filing in, but most of the people who are already here perk up as his entrance is clearly being made more grandiose by the lights resting upon him. As he makes his way up onto the stage, takes the very middle of it as his associates just kind of take places more off to the sides, in the shadows, among the spectators. As he holds up his hands and he just kind of claps them together. Well, look how many faces are still here, alive and well. Magnificent. It's good to see that the bets didn't bleed people dry, am I right? You hear some scattered chuckles and laughs, and people who are understanding his platinum joke. His joke is a moneymaker, a person who is very much that kind of mindset, but also because most of the people here didn't die trying to take on this bet. It wasn't a bet that was that dire. At least most of them. There were certainly some others who probably didn't have quite as easy of a time, but those faces certainly aren't here. Not at this current time, at least. Not in this current place.
Mm-hmm.
Let me try to do that, otherwise I'll have people show up. I don't want that. He motions again, and there's like windows and like places where people can go to and whatnot. He's like, do remember, if you had your ticket for where you were allotting yourself on the board, that you get your payment, or give your payment, as needed. Those of you who attempted to take out debts who cannot pay it back, just know we will make sure that it is irrevocably made certain of until such time that the debt is repaid. You know who you are, not naming names. You can see bits of shifts in the audience. Clearly people who thought they'd win big, and, well, with you still around, they certainly lost.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly he takes a few steps around the audience as he kind of motions to everyone, and everyone just kind of seems to nod for a bit. And he plays it up for a moment. There's a little bit of music that starts to play in the rafters, a bit of a soft symphony that builds up a little bit. Now, I'm sure you all are aware of what must be done now that we have completed this arduous task. This not infallible, but certainly very enthusiastic trial. As he stops, hand pointed towards Von Sterling and, more likely, towards you. May the one known now as Fidget please come take the stand with me.
She stands up and walks very confidently forward.
A spotlight swivels around and follows you down. Again, very much it's very faintly blinding, but there's just enough of a skew on it that you can still see the audience.
Mm-hmm.
If anyone were to attempt to strike you, this would be very possibly the best time, although not for anyone close to you, obviously.
Obviously.
But for anyone distantly to attempt to. But that would certainly be in bad taste.
Very much so.
Stepping up on to the dais, the raised platform. He motions to you. He's slightly shorter than you, and so it is a bit of a height discrepancy, but not much, all things considering. His hat makes up for part of it. As he goes, "You have succeeded where others have failed, in a task monumental and, dare I say it, I thought it was impossible, and yet here you stand."
That I do.
So, Fidget of Corvin, would you like to once again rejoin the fold as Fidget of Cormundum?
I would.
Very good. He holds out his hand, and on there is a ring. You know that you are meant to gently place your hand against the ring. It's just symbolic.
Oh, almost for her, she does the motions needed.
Yep, and the reason why it is symbolic is because, for history that you know, putting your hand on the ring is meant to be a way of showing that you are not pledging to the ring or to the person, but that you are part of it, that you are not bound to it, but that you are a piece of the whole.
Mm-hmm.
And in Corvin, when you did this, it was with D'Artes. And after you did this, you were expected to kneel. And you get ready for him to say that command, and you are surprised when Iceberg takes the knee.
She'll look like visibly confused.
As he gives a slight nod to you, and no one makes any noise except for maybe a few bits around where Tank and such are. Tank being one who is also as confused, like, huh? Wait, what? As Iceberg says very solemnly, as one who is to guide, it is better to take the knee myself than to make one who is going to be beneath me take the knee. After all, you're a bigger piece in a bigger whole. And I need you to work with me, not against me. You've done good work, and you will continue to do good work.
Seth.
And he doesn't wait for you to give any indication of a willingness to stand. He just stands up, and he turns his hand to take yours, and he gives it a firm handshake.
She'll return it just as firm.
Welcome back.
Good to be home.
That being said, I would like for you to stay up on the stand a moment longer, if you would.
Where would you like me?
Kind of just motions off, just generically off to the side. Like, in a, not fully caring, but wherever you wish.
She'll move over in the direction, at least, and stand most militaristic, like that at ease, hands behind back kind of thing.
Of course, yes. And he takes a small pacing stature, very clearly presenting his attentions towards Von Sterling's row. There are a number of other people who are, like, some of them who have got like a handheld fruits and whatnot. One of them has like a mango that has just been cut into thin strips, so they're like pulling pieces out of it and eating like it looks like it was peeled like almost like a pineapple. And one person just has a pineapple, they're just yanking the little parts out, just chewing on it, just watching. And then as they realize that they're being their side's being addressed, they like slightly lean to the side as though they're trying to get out of the way. As that row is addressed, and Von Sterling stands, and so do the rest of the collective members. And Tank, sitting close to you, kind of pauses, and he glances to you all like he's not sure whether he should motion to you to stand or not, and ultimately decides not to make a motion. As he motions his hand to the group. Von Sterling, it is my pleasure to have you among us with your retinue and with your newest amongst our retinue. Would you care to join me on the stand? Von Sterling, after a moment, nods, and he makes his way very calmly, very casually down the steps before stepping up on the other side of Iceberg that is parallel with Fidget. His at ease is placing both hands in front of him on his cane. And to the rest of your crew, well, not gonna swear you in under Cormundum unless you wish to be. I understand some people have, what's that thing? Loyalty to one's country. There. Borders change and wars will change them faster than a blink of an eye. But don't worry. The collective is a collective that remains stalwart. If you wish, you may rejoin with us, but you are already part of us. No need. Unless you want to. That said, there are others among you. Have a seat, if you please. And he watches the blackouts sit down. And he motions. Would those who've been passed a note please stand? And he motions to Tedric, Serenity, and Artemis.
Serenity will stand up.
Artemis will stand.
Tedric is the last to stand, kind of looking at the two of you like, when the fuck were you passed a note?
No Velinor?
Oh yeah, Velinor as well, sorry. My brain was processing. I'm missing a name. It's not Aurelius.
And, well, you didn't... Aurelius isn't doing it, so yeah.
No, he would. Yeah, that's why I was like, no, it's not Aurelius. Who am I missing? Yeah, Velinor also stands.
He's got a little bit of a confused look on Artemis's face because she doesn't register what passed a note means.
Of course. And he like puts his hands behind his back and just kind of looks at you all for a moment. And there's no lights that are put upon you specifically, not at first, before he motions for them to do so. And it's not blinding in your eyes, it's just illuminating you for others to see. And you hear people muttering in confusion. You hear the sound of something flapping rapidly, and you can very vaguely see the outline of someone who is standing up, waving their hands really fast, as you see the glimmer of light off of Crazy's goggles. And he's like, hey, I know them people.
I'm here, hi! I'm here!
Hey, I'm here too, I see you guys. Hi, guys, hi! And it's not like anyone's giving you bad looks or anything. They're just looking at you like, okay, hi, cool. And you see one person who's like not too far away, but one person like pointed at Serenity like, I remember her. It's her. She's the one who punched me.
Oh god. You've already got a reputation, Serenity. It's great.
God damn it.
But after a moment, Iceberg, motions again to you all.
I just realized my microphone was muted that entire time.
Oh no. Snarky's already muted.
I was like, but Aurelius has hesitated, and then he joined. Why does no?
Is he also? Do you also accept the note?
Are you taking the collective offer tonight?
He is now. He had to think about it.
Okay.
So when you stand, you see that Iceberg does look pleasantly surprised, but his smile only grows a little wider as he acknowledges you again and says, if you have accepted the note, please come forward. And this time Tedric is the first to make their way down.
Serenity starts her way down.
Artemis pauses, but follows Serenity.
Aurelius is uncomfortably close to Tedric.
I love it
in your
so
business.
much.
Just
Insert menacing.
menacing aura behind Tedric. Tedric's just like, I'm looking forward, sweat slowly beating down his face. He's like, what's this sudden feeling of dread?
Aurelius just staring at his ear, unblinking.
Of course. You all come up onto the stand and stand before him as he looks between you all. After a moment, he turns and he motions to Van Sterling. And Von Sterling steps past Iceberg, who actually takes a full step back as he very clearly steps forward and steps in front of Tedric. Tedric shuffles, squinting a little bit at the light. Looks very unused to this kind of attention. You know he's wanted to be center stage. He's wanted to be here. And now that he's got it, he's not sure if he is where he wants to be. And Von Sterling stares at him. And slowly pulls his cane out and taps the end of it against his chin and raises it up, forcing him to look him in the eye. I know who you are. I know where you've come from. And I will be the first to say that now, accepting this, it does not matter anymore. It is behind you. It is no longer something that you will drag with you. If you seek to do so, you will not be stopped, but you will be called a fool. You take with you nothing. No reputation. No bonds. Only something new. Until such time we can determine what your skill sets will be. You'll be assigned as janitor. You see, Tedric, like, he voices displeasure. It's like this brief moment, and his head is tilted back even further by the cane, clapping his teeth shut and forcing him almost onto his tiptoes. That will be your position. That is where you currently stand, here in the collective. Do you have any reservations? And it's clear that the tone and intonation implies he expects none. And Teddy has to struggle. He wants to voice it. You can see it in every fiber of his being. Everyone watching also can see it. He's exposed to the world. And slowly, he regains composure. Slowly. He finds something. You don't know what. Something that he can latch onto. As he eventually shakes his head very minutely, but enough to let them know he has no reservations. Or at least none that he will voice publicly. Von Sterling nods. He pulls the cane back slowly and gently taps the end of it against the floor. Motions for him to take a step to the side, and as he does so, he holds up a finger before he gets fully past. He looks to you, Fidget.
Mm-hmm.
If there is any animosity between ours and theirs, express it now. And
I agree. It's like, I agree with your decision, sir.
Tedrick does not agree. He looks suddenly confused and looking between them like, what? Trying desperately to find something other than the word, you.
You're one of us now, Teddy. Welcome to the collective. And she's got like this, like the sickeningly sweet smile on her face that does not match her tone whatsoever.
Fucking teeth rotting grin with the "I will kill you" eyes.
Effectively.
Just like, welcome to the collective, Teddy.
Welcome to the club. Oh my god, you're gonna love it.
I'm not gonna go full Valley Girl on you guys. It's fine.
Not again. I can't do it again. I'm not strong enough.
Do you do anything?
Fidget will lock eyes with Teddy before, and her hand moves from her back and points to a spot next to her for him to come join her.
He's hesitant, trepidatious even.
You didn't realize it, Teddy, that this initiation means you work for me now?
Blood drained from face yet again. But he...
I recommend you come here and stand. Or you can talk more to Von Sterling. It's no skin off my nose.
He slowly steps forward and takes his spot next to you.
Good, Teddy.
He squints angrily at that bit, but again says nothing.
She'll turn an actual smile to Von Sterling and give a nod of her head.
Von Sterling nods, and he glances to Iceberg as though, should he continue? Should Iceberg take over? But Iceberg nods to him, letting him continue. As Iceberg turns and looks to the rest of you, almost waiting to see who wishes to step forward first.
Artemis will.
You step forward, and it is instantly apparent that there is a different tone. He doesn't move his cane to you threateningly. He keeps it by his side. He moves his hand and makes a motion as though asking permission to place it on your shoulder.
She'll give a short nod.
Places his hand, nods to you. You are willing to stand with us, to become one of us, with all the benefits, protections, and responsibilities therein.
If you are willing to stand.
He will nod, and he will hold out his hand with the ring. Something that idly, the three of you note that he did not do with Tedric.
And she'll just kind of pause for a minute, remembering exactly what Fidget did. Kind of glancing up at him like she's waiting for a little bit of instruction for holding her hand, touching it with her hand.
You place your hand against it, and after a moment he kneels and nods to you. We are delighted to have you in our services. And then he slowly stands up and motions for you to stand next to Fidget.
And she will look over to Fidget.
When Artie looks over at Fidget, it is an actual genuine smile as she motions to the side, not near Teddy.
She will go over and stand next to Fidget, while continuing to watch curiously.
I'll keep you safe, Artie, I promise.
And I'll keep you safe.
Deal.
Alright. Serenity, Aurelius.
Serenity looks at Aurelius.
Aurelius has done ritualistic style initiations before, so he'll just kind of mechanically follow the same steps effectively. Oh yeah, no, Aurelius has done a few ritualistic sacrifices.
Shark bait. Ooh, ah.
No, he's just gonna take off the arm that Artemis gave him and said, "Will this work?"
Or you're gonna need actual flesh.
Anyways.
Switch, you stepping forward.
I think Zark said that Aurelius was.
Aurelius, making sure.
Yeah, I said that he followed the movements that Fidget did almost mechanically. Like he was programmed to do it.
Gotcha. And Von Sterling, like, lets you take the more, again, military kind of parade rest kind of stance. Like, no, you more full attention. And he motions kind of at ease, but doesn't stop you from continuing the stance. He kind of stares at you for a moment. I imagine you've come a long way to get here, to this point. Are you willing to accept this kind of change? Not to who you are, but to who will rely on you, who will expect you to be there to assist them, who will look to you when things are needed to be done.
The past is dead, and it will remain dead. This is my future.
There's a bit of muttering from some people, some confused by that statement, others more nodding and accepting, as though that's a good thing. Like, yeah, I like that. Yeah. He seems to accept that answer Any motions for you to also place your hand against the ring.
Again, very much kind of programmed to do things like in a similar way, but not exactly. So there is a bit of an awkward moment when he does it, like he's not sure how he's supposed to present his hands. So he just kind of eventually he does manage to do it, but it is clear that there is a struggle with his programming. He's running on fucking Windows 95 over here.
You can hear the cogs charting in his ears.
God, all I thought of was like the dial-up noise.
That's exactly what was going through my head.
And he kneels. And says very simply, so long as your loyalty shines as the aspect you wish to keep, we, in turn, will return that loyalty to you. And he stands, and he motions for you to stand next to Fidget.
Again, it's another genuine smile as Aurelius looks over at her.
Through life and loss.
She gives a nod and just kind of like motions again to the side with Artemis, not to the side with Teddy.
He goes
Bang!
next to Teddy, like
I
very.
was expecting that, but she was trying to like join Artie.
Like,
but she knew she was gonna torment Teddy.
Like, no, I gotta make my new friend comfortable. Right, buddy. T-Boat, yeah, literally.
Right, buddy. Tedric just sweating more. You're like,
I want your arm.
And
You're gonna join me in the cyborg club.
Serenity.
Bro said I missed the opportunity to take your limb before. The time is now. She'll walk forward.
He's not actually going to, but the factor of intimidation will forever be a part of their relationship.
She's partially distracted because she's just watching Aurelius just completely intimidate the fuck out of Tedric before she walks forward.
And he looks you over. And it's a soft, kind, grandfatherly sort of smile. One, a look you haven't seen in quite a while.
I'll back, actually.
You, who are seen as a warrior, and most likely are leaned on as such, and will be again. Are you willing and ready to accept this new union and show willingness and readiness to learn.
Nods her head.
He'll nod back, offer the ring.
As long as the collective doesn't turn into just another copy of the church, I'm willing to offer my loyalty. And she'll take the ring.
He takes the knee. As you will fight, defend, and sunder, so too will we accept, uplift, and nurture. He will stand up and motion for you to stand as well.
Stand.
Next to
Yeah, Fidget will kind of like
Artemis, or stand
again.
next to Aurelius, where both of you T-posing over to.
See?
No, there's actually a moment where when Serenity looks over, Fidget's smiling, but she kind of gives like a shrug, like, where do you want to stand?
She goes to Artemis's side, but she actively walks behind Tedric, just staring at the back of his head before going to Artemis.
You just pause behind him, and it's clear to some people, just by glancing, that there is some tension,
Bad blood
between the group and Tedric, but being fair, that was to be expected.
The mentality of you fucked with one of us, now you get to fuck with all of us.
Effectively, yes. Which
We would
leads us-
like
yeah.
to sacrifice him to
Don't
the
forget
altar,
Valinor.
or-
No, I was about to say, which brings us to Valinor. And Valinor steps forward, and Van Sterling just kind of looks him over again, just like the rest of you. And he sighs softly. I imagine that this is a much farther leap for you than for others. Valinor tilts his head thoughtfully. Only about as far as I make it. There seems to be almost a ponderous, considering thought before Van Sterling nods. Well then, are you willing to take that leap? And it's silent for a solid minute. And a few, people who are near enough seem to, lean forward as though growing in anticipation of potentially an acceptance, potentially a rejection. And Valinor looks to be considering, rubbing his fingers together very thoughtfully. And for a brief moment, it looks very much like he has a pained expression of someone who is about to say no. Then he looks back to Von Sterling. And he doesn't once look to the rest of you. And you get the impression that he knows if he does, he will just say yes and move on. He's trying to make this his choice. And after a moment, I am willing to take that leap. Von Sterling nods, offers the ring, and kneels. then we will accept you, and we will see it through. Whatever it is that you must do. And in turn, you will help us in turn. As is the way of nature. A give and a take. You hear Velinor snort very softly. But he stands up and nods to Velinor, who moves over and stands next to Serenity. He doesn't bother even looking in Tedric's direction. He just stands next to Serenity and just kind of stands there. And Iceberg claps his hands together a few times, and the whole collective claps their hands the exact same amount of times, like 2 or 3 times. There's a few people who do it an extra time or two, but it's not a full-on, like, applause. It's just an accepting clap as Iceberg bows to you. Well then, it would seem that we are at our end of this journey. You all are dismissed. For those who wish to stay around, though, we have another round of betting to be put upon. We have shipyards who are going to be affected by the oncoming war. And then you just kind of get ushered out quickly, as you get the impression very quickly that this has now gone from a respectful, almost somber moment to Iceberg immediately pushing you to the side, going, now we're going to get into the real thing. Wheel of morality. Turn, turn, turn. Time to throw some money.
You want to know what it feels
violent.
like? It sounds like it went from an almost like clerical like baptism, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then turned to fucking British Parliament.
Oh,
Honestly, yeah.
there's no viable way this man doesn't run a casino at minimum.
Oh, absolutely. He's a platinum. They make money for the
His
collective.
name is Iceberg, and he's the biggest penguin reference I've ever seen.
How ugly is this man again? I'm looking to be a sugar baby.
He's a pimp.
He's a pimp.
He's a pimp.
Think Oswald Cobblepot as a penguin.
God damn it.
That was literally the entire joke of his character. And you're asking, I wonder if he runs a casino.
Look. What the hell? My cat's clicking my mouse.
Bad cat. Stop it.
That adds up. Cat chase mouse.
He's not even the mouser.
Anyway.
But yeah,
You are
Fidget
led
will,
off stage, back into the shadows, and there's a person kind of ushers you off to the side where you guys can follow Von Sterling, and you see off to the side towards the top where the door is that the rest of Fidget's old crew, the ones who are here, that is, waiting to walk with you. They don't say anything immediately. They just walk with you, and it's this they keep the tone of that somber, more, I wouldn't say, what's the word?
Melancholic?
Melancholic would be good. I'm going to switch the tone just a smidge here.
Hey!
Hey, I'm glad that this is what I chose for this, because this is far better for this.
Welcome to the Mafia!
Hey! Hey, forget about it. Hey, get some gabagool in your system.
Oh my god.
I knew what
Artemis
I
is
was
going
doing.
to take a breath,
Yep.
look around. I'm gonna go get a snack and continue working.
As you say
There's
that,
fish in my bag.
He says there's fish in the bag, and you look, you see Midnight look around, and he opens up his cloak, and you see that he has pinned into it just pocket bacon.
Before you do, I do have something to talk to you and Aurelius about.
All right, go ahead and talk.
We're not
still walking.
done We
Yeah.
actually have to give you guys your roles.
Roles and nicknames.
All right.
You've
I
been
feel like I
given-
have a rough idea of what my role will be.
Chip, Artemis is still taking the pocket bacon.
I'm so. You want to buy some bacon?
And she'll just thank Midnight quietly and then look over at Fidget as they walk.
As Aurelius is walking next to Fidget, he makes the joke of basically, let's see how similar my new role will be to my old role.
I have a feeling nobody here will be too surprised with what you guys get.
I'm going to be very surprised. Just the biggest sarcastic grin on his face.
Like brother, like sister, right? Hey, and she like punches his arm.
You're lucky I don't punch back.
That's your own misgiving.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm technically your new boss. And she just has, again, shit-eating grin.
To be fair, I hit my last boss, so
Yeah,
No hitting the whisper! And Fidget, like, moves forward next to Curling.
That can't be possibly be the rules. All of you spar too much.
Once we're done with ceremony, hit whoever you want. Just, look, let's finish the rolls, the stuff.
yeah, that tank, she just gave me permission.
Tank holds up his hands in a defensive. Don't look at me.
All right, big guy, you and I, let's go.
Tank just picking Aurelius up and throwing him across the room.
But you guys are still traveling through the town, and while you guys are having a bit of lighthearted banter, and the other parts of the group do join in.
It's basically trying to lighten up after that somber shit.
Yeah.
Wholesome activities only in this house.
Have you met me?
Who are you?
That tracks.
Anyways.
Oh wow, does this mean I'm becoming a shadow since he clearly doesn't see me?
No. Fidget just kind of looks at Serenity, kind of going, yeah, no, Shadow won't work for you. Like, almost like she's, like, studying Serenity for, like, the first time ever.
If I get called that at that point, I'm going to assume that you have done very expensive, very effective drugs.
No.
In which case, can I get some?
Anyways, let's go, guys. She, like, narrows her eyes at Aurelius and just kind of shakes her head.
Another one of those shit-eating grins as they walk forward.
Oh, yeah, she was, it's one of those things. This is a brother-sister bicker.
The fuck's with the polka music?
Breathe.
Finally.
Artemis just eating her bacon and walking along.
I'm walking back and forth so my knees don't lock up from being in the chair, and I just keep pacing to the beat of the music. Suddenly it just switched to polka and it confused me.
Just do some squats.
God damn it.
Eventually, as you are going down the hallway, there is a little room, a little alcove sort of area where you can kind of step in, and there's no one really in there. It seems to be a more private room, a more not ornamented too heavily, just a room set aside that there's like one guard outside of. When they just kind of open the door, letting you guys in, respectfully nodding to you all.
I'll nod back.
And as you all step in, there's a number of chairs and seats, and it looks like it has kind of a free form. You can sit wherever you want. You can sit on the floor if you want. You can sit on a chair if you want. There's like some cushions as well. Von Sterling goes and he takes a seat of his own in a very much a kind of position to address everyone kind of seating.
Fidget will keep near his side.
And he motions to all to take a seat, and his group takes seats on either side of him, kind of forcing you guys to kind of take a seat where you have to look at him rather than being on the sides where he can't. And Teddy tries to sit there, like on one of those sides where he's like doesn't have to look at him, and you just see Tank like look at him just like, "You're in spot."
It's just and Fidget just grins at Teddy, going, "You know better."
He is.
He is.
And Tedric just shuffles to the side, and then shuffles a little bit faster when Tank is clearly going to sit down. Just sits down, just thump.
Dido needs to stay by the whisper, Teddy.
Speak up?
No.
Then don't speak.
He looks offended, but he doesn't have
Sorry,
anything
were
to
you
say.
saying something?
When Artemis does that, Fidget could not look prouder.
He's turning his little hearts above her head, damn there. The minute Teddy takes a seat, Serenity sits right beside him. Sits perfectly ladylike, doesn't look at him, legs are crossed, hands in her lap. But she's there.
On the other side is Aurelius.
Outside of that one speaking thing, she does not acknowledge Teddy.
Of course.
At this point, this is for fun.
Effectively. And Munster holds up a
In
hand.
the whisper,
Yep.
Aurelius says to fucking Serenity, "How long until he breaks?"
I give him 2 hours.
Bet.
Von Sterling holds up a hand. Not quite to silence you, but more to gain attention back to him. I see you're all taking to your new position amongst the collective well. How do you feel?
Well, it's the first time I've been in a group that is technically illegal.
The best kind.
He looks
Only
fucking
technically.
amused.
Technicalities. So, you know.
First.
As such, I believe it is good that we begin by introducing you to the roles with you will hear often. Yes?
By all means.
I closed my document.
Oh,
No, come
curious.
back. Breathe, Paris, breathe.
Aurelius
I
looks
am
at the assistant who closed the document.
Rip.
Just so you know, Comp, you turned up to be a wolf in the the document.
Rip.
Perfect.
Because I had the same document open to help where necessary.
Of course. He will motion for you all to take a seat. There are those who will take to other jobs. There are the unseen, the silent, the abandoned, blackouts, cavalry, platinum, forgotten, and merchants. Branches, but things that will be explained in due time. Things that you do not need to know immediately, but you will hear them brought up from time to time. What you need to concern yourself with are who you listen to. Yes?
Ernie nods.
The head of a region is the boss. For you, as you are under Fidget, I am the boss.
Good to know that I'm already in my boss's good graces.
There's a faint smile. You've done well. Beneath the boss is the Whisper, the leader who will attend to the needs of the boss, or attend to their own needs, or attend to the needs of those who they are working alongside. They are not above you. They are not greater than you. They simply are the one who reports directly to the boss.
So a messenger of sorts.
An in-between, to ensure that if something needs done, it gets done. They work with the group, they are part of the group, and often the group looks to them if they need advice.
So closer to an administrator then?
In a way, yes.
Basically have the boss's ear.
He nods slightly. To some groups, there is one called a mask. One who presents themselves as the leader. Point of contact mostly for those who are not in the collective. That said, I do not see your group requiring such services. Not after your interactions with my last mask.
Fidget actually flinches at that.
I'll expect you all to understand that to avoid being false prophets, people who spread information about the collective, that you are to not do so unless you are certain you are speaking to collective. Am I understood?
Pretty nods.
Red whistle nod.
Valinor nods. All eyes turn and look at Aurelius.
What? What did I do?
Did you hear what was said?
I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit distracted.
By what? Don't answer that. He...
Wouldn't you like to know?
Ah, I see. You've decided to become the weather boy because you would like to know.
God damn it.
What was said was that when you are interacting with people, that you are not spreading information about the collective to people outside the collective. And he made sure that that was said in a way that he expects an acknowledgement.
This is weird because Aurelius would be the type to be quiet and not say anything. Just listening.
Everyone is quiet and nodding.
Yes. It is just an acknowledgement, a nod, is all that he's looking for.
Fidget's eyes are locked on Aurelius at this point.
What, did I do something wrong?
A simple acknowledgement.
It's either go like this and she nods, or like this and she shakes her head. One or the other.
I'm used to listening to everything before. Anyway. Just like sinks back in into the chair a little bit and nods like a good soldier boy. Sorry, I can't take anything seriously with this music.
Fucking hilarious. I love every second of it.
Do we need to change it to the dark one?
Probably.
Okay, I'll change it to the dark one. Don't worry about it. You can keep going.
No worries.
I'm sorry.
Funny as fuck to me.
There is also the shadow. Bodyguard to those who are mask and to those who are whisper. Considering the nature of Fidget and your group, I would imagine such a thing again should be unnecessary. There are...
Fidget will look at him, and then look at Tank, and then look at Von Sterling.
He looks to you, nods, and he motions to the rest of the group. to those who've not been given such titles.
Ah, understood, sis. My apologies.
You've already given your voice about who you want as your shadow. I will not take that from you.
It was a misunderstanding on terminology, so that's all.
It was an insistence on understanding. A good insistence. Do not cut that information lightly. You do well to make sure that you are understanding of what you are being told. A good trait to have.
Something that I had to learn.
And something you will continue to learn. It is not a bad thing to seek and absorb new information.
There's a look of respect on Aurelius's face when he says that.
You will have hands that you may come across. People who will help you acquire tools you need. But your group likely will be more hands-on. Again, I do not see you having to deal as hands yourselves. And he will motion a hand forward, and he will motion to Artemis.
Artemis will meet a stare.
Young miss, you will be a tinker. You make very plainly it that clear that you are one who works with your hands to create things, modify things.
She'll nod.
And as such, it will be respected as such that you should be kept safe. After all, if your tools do not work, you will die.
There's an intense look as she continues to watch him, but she still nods.
In a light break from the norm, I would like to ask you what name you wish to be known by. And you can see a few of the other members of your old group kind of looked with this look like, huh? Like,
And Fidget just smiles, kind of going, we're breaking tradition. I like it.
there's something new. See if it sticks with your group.
But yeah, Adi, what nickname do you want?
I liked the one that they gave me before. I think it was TikTok or something.
It was TikTok, yeah. I like TikTok.
Very well then, TikTok.
This is just making Kendall just.
Right,
You
I'm
go.
trying so hard.
He will give a respectful nod. Welcome, TikTok. And he has a bemused little smile on his face as he does so. And he looks between the three of you, and his eyes kind of slowly slide over and look to Velinor as he motions to him. I could put you in many positions. There's much you could do. Out of respect for your people, as well as respect for what you are now, I offer the position of scribe, an information gatherer, one who trades and buys and deals in such things. If you have any reason to seek out such things, it will be more apparent to you and be given more freely. Eleanor just kind of takes that in. After a moment, she kind of nods and kind of gives a little shrug, like, "Yeah, that works. I'm not against that." Sure, yeah. He's very much at a loss.
He's like, okay.
Oh, okay. And he motions again to Velinor, and Velinor kind of processes it for a moment, and he goes, "Oh, my nickname?" And he nods. And after a moment, he kind of glances to Tank, and Tank just kind of shrugs like, "Don't look at me, I don't know what's going on." And after a moment, he comes to a name. Shepherd. And Sterling.
Aurelius narrows his eyes.
You want to do an insight check?
Sure.
Anyone who wants to can do an insight check.
Oh, Fidget just kind of chuckles, if anything. But I'll do one anyways, just for fun.
For fun.
I'm gonna re-roll that because I'm not gonna have a nat 1.
Fair.
I'll take a nat 20 instead.
Woo! You want to roll Serenity?
What fucking god did you pray to?
It's collective knowledge, baby!
Do you want to roll Serenity?
Sure. Hold up. Fucking. How have I not opened her character sheet? Wait, I
You haven't
refreshed.
needed
Never mind.
to. You also haven't needed to.
I usually do it inherently.
I mean, yeah, but if it refreshed, then you're not going to realize you need to reopen it.
So the fuck? You're not supposed to be insightful.
So, Artemis, you kind of look him over and you're like, I mean, it's druidy, it's thematic, you guess. I mean, he hasn't exactly been, like, shepherding, moving you guys around and whatnot. And, good enough. And
It's a nickname.
It's a nickname. It's certainly a name. For the rest of you, it's druidic. Very intently druidic, but it is not something that you've seen him go by in his actions. He's not a guide. And as a scribe, that is... It's almost a play on shepherding information. But he's also a druid, so he's shepherding creatures, people, whatever may have you. But there's a look to his eye. You can't place what it is, but he seems to have had a thought, an idea, an understanding.
Enlightenment.
And seems to be leaning on that.
So it's not because Aurelius is called the Black Sheep and he's hurting him.
I mean, it could be.
Even with my 26, I don't think I would have picked that part up. Sorry.
You can't tell his intent. You can see the basic gist of his emotions
Yeah.
and such, but you can't see that him being like, I have 2 sheep and I'm going to shepherd them.
I got 2 sheep here. One of them's a fucking asshole. I'm gonna look. Fuck these guys. Aurelius isn't sure if he should be offended or not, despite his high insight check.
Correct.
This is such a good track, I'm sorry.
It is a really good track. That being said, that is the nickname he gives. And he sits down. And then he motions to both Serenity and Aurelius.
Gonna arch your eyebrow.
I like the thought that they kind of stand up in sync without realizing it.
And then he looks
Still
at
intimidating Teddy. Like Teddy's still in between them, and they're just 2 giants.
and just suddenly looming next to him, and he's just like, I'm gonna shrink away. Help.
Like one with like a shit ton of muscles showing, the other with a giant hunk of metal on his back.
Technically, both of you have hunks of metal on your back, and
Metal.
it's just like, I don't want to look at that. Don't look at me.
This is the dude who I put in a headlock and he almost spit on me. Bruh. I'll make you regret every word that left your mouth in that dungeon.
I nearly completely fucking cut off his entire torso.
And he looks between the both of you as you just you have like, again, you're basically having the anime menace kind of aura between you, and Tedrick is just like sweating bullets just between you, just like eyes wide staring at the floor like and he looks between the two.
It's my fucking dreadful aspect.
I mean, and honestly, you're kind of just boosting up Serenity. Actually, that's a thing to work on later. We'll get to that later. But as he looks between the two of you, Von Sertling, that is, smiles coyly. I wouldn't say that I've never, but it's certainly good to see that hammers are still alive and well. You are, well, showing off your specialty quite amicably.
Dirty Smurf.
Terrors, people who know how and when to cause harm, and when presence alone is needed. I would hope that you continue such respectful presences going forward.
Aurelius just kind of quotes a text he read at some point when he was younger. It's difficult to build a house without a hammer and a nail.
Stray tries so hard to withhold her immediate impulsive thought.
Upwardly face palms.
Before she just takes a deep breath. I will do my best to only use intimidation when necessary. Or when I think it necessary. He actually looks at Tedrick before looking back at Von Sterling.
Fear is a tool, not a weapon.
Spoken like true hammers. Respect. Fidget just smiles. Because even though she has her new leathers with the whisper symbol on it, her cloak is still held together by the pin of with the mark of the hammer on it.
And that pin is something he pulls out and steps forward and offers, one at a time, each of you a pin that has the symbol he has deemed you with.
Oh, nicknames for Serenity and Aurelius.
Yes. He does want those.
Would you like me to put in the chat what each symbol is?
Yes,
Please and thank you.
While you are doing that, you two, symbols.
Nicknames, you mean?
Nicknames. You know, I knew what I meant. I spoke words that were incorrect.
Spoke words that were incorrect.
Do what I mean, not what I say.
Correct.
In peak Aurelius fashion, he just kind of looks at everyone else and says, "Any suggestions?"
Seem to very much enjoy the term renegade.
Or you can go by Black Sheep, but I don't think you like that one.
I'm considering Wolfsbane.
If that's what you'd like to be called. We could always shorten it like we do with Tank, because that ain't his full nickname. So. It's just easier to say than Tank it all the time.
Sorry, trying not to laugh, I'm sorry.
Artemis will kind of lean up over to Serenity. Yes, I'm sure you will get.
She slowly stares at Artemis.
Just kind of smirks.
So Aurelius, you want to go by Wolfsbane?
You know what Wolfsbane does, don't you?
I am familiar, yes.
Is it not fitting?
It is. Do you want to be called short Bane or Wolf?
Prefer Wolf than Bane. Bane sounds like, and he points to Tankard, something like that. Like, big guy, lots of muscles.
Born in it. Oh, fine.
So, Wolfsbane. Welcome to the collective and Serenity. You get to actually pick your nickname this time, instead of somebody giving it to you.
Well, actually, there was a name that someone had affectionately given me that I do like the title of. Granted, he was scum, but Silvertongue gave me the nickname Duality.
That is surprisingly fitting for you.
A bit on the nose, but I quite like it.
Okay. So we got TikTok, Shepherd, Wolfsbane, and Duality. I like it.
Renegade is who I was. It's time I move on.
But yeah, as you see in chat, those are you now have a cloak pin in the shape of those.
Ironically, Serenity. I forgot Serenity has a cloak of protection.
You have a cloak pin for that cloak.
No, I'm saying that because I forgot to add that to her AC.
God damn it. That's not my fault.
No, it's not. I'm saying now it's harder to hit me. Sorry, no.
I mean, being fair, that just means you're doing your job.
Fair.
I mean, at this point, we've kind of established you're the big Bane main tank.
Why do you think you two are hammers?
I regret nothing. Oh, wait. Hang on. Yeah, no, I forgot to add fucking cloak of protection.
To be fair, Aurelius holding a guy over a balcony and screaming, "Where is everyone else?" is a very Hammer thing to do.
God
Yeah.
fucking... Pogo!
Tank can teach you pogo.
I do not want to learn poker.
Artemis making limbs. This makes sense.
And now you get all the supplies you need, Adi.
Which means we don't need to spend more money.
We'll actually get jobs, which will also make it so that we don't have to worry if we need, stuff outside the collective.
That is true.
Artemis's eyes widen and she kind of taps her fingers excitedly because it's been a while since she's had access to this many resources.
Ernie just looks at Artemis and smiles.
But there's still this caution and wariness because the last time she had any kind of community and access to resources came with an extremely heavy price that she didn't realize she was paying.
Cautious optimism.
Yes.
Aurelius is kind of in a similar boat, but he's putting a lot of faith in Fidget. And also, he spent enough time with, Tank and Ember and Midnight and everyone at this point that he's a lot more comfortable with these people now.
I do want to say, as the whisper of the group, I ain't expecting y'all to change how you've been acting as we are in a group. I'm not gonna suddenly ask you all to act outside your character just because of titles. Okay?
You think I'd
we're
let
not
you do
allowed
that
to
to
make
me?
fun of you for being our leader now?
If you wish.
Oh, look, she can take it.
We're friends. Friends give each other a hard time.
If I didn't assume that it's not me.
Fair enough. But Serenity, now you get to be scary and get paid for it.
It's true.
I mean, I was doing this shit for free for years. What the fuck have I been... Aurelius kind of half joking.
But yeah, you guys... In towns, I mean, not every town we go to is going to have collective. Obviously.
Wouldn't expect that. But
So
it'd probably be the major cities.
Not even major. The first town we were in wasn't exactly a major town. But they had collective. We worked for the collective since day one together.
Speaking of, have we told the story of how we all met?
We can once we're done with the official business.
I'm pretty sure we're more or less done.
Fidget's eyes will sparkle as she looks over, like an idea just hit her as she looks over at Von Sterling going, "Do you know the name Nazanor?"
Describe them. Describe them. He looks like he's contemplating.
And there's a moment where Fidget just kind of goes, like she's about ready to describe physically, but the first things out of her mouth is he's a boss of the collective. He's actually a scribe over in Ember. Works with the cavalry, mostly. Big guy. I believe he was a bugbear, yes? Or no. Hobgoblin. He was a hobgoblin.
Right.
Yeah, and she'll describe the hobgoblin that they worked for in the first town.
Oh, I punched his goblin friend.
Yeah, the one who's in Godai's tower, that whole group is collective down there. They're considered cavalry. They get supplies, what we brought down for them, from one place to another, as safely and as quickly as possible. Like the Falco,
of course,
took us places.
In Amber.
In Ember, yeah.
Ah.
I'm not
Heard
too
of them.
concerned that I hit him. He kind of asked for it.
If they ask for it, they ask for it. And, well, I'm sure you'll find opportunities to strike others.
He grins. Oh God.
Aurelius just looks at Tedric.
No.
When they're looking
I'm
at
sure
Tedric,
that won't happen to you, buddy. And he does the back massage thing.
Fidget will look over at Tedric, kind of going, "Now don't worry, Teddy. Just because you're working under me does not mean you're gonna have to travel with us too."
There's this moment of, oh, thank God. And then all of a sudden you just see Midnight suddenly appears behind me and goes, no, that means you get to work with me. And he's just, I regret this, I regret this, I regret this.
Hey, Midnight, isn't there a good spot in the sewer that needs cleaning?
Oh, yeah, there's a lot of bodies. I think that was your fault. No, it wasn't.
That
It
might
is
have been mine.
now. It is now, Teddy. It's time for you to do your job. When I see fit that you are actually able to do more than just be your father's son, then we'll talk actual titles.
Prove yourself as an individual, basically, is what she's saying.
I
Think
am
you can
an
handle
individual.
something that simple?
And until such time, you are only going to be Teddy. That is your nickname. And you are the janitor, and you're working under Midnight.
Ooh, can we call him Teddy Bear?
Ugh.
No, just Teddy.
I thought it could get something a bit more evil.
He actually cringed at that, just like, ew, no, no.
Or, Teddy, there's another job you could do for me if you don't want to clean up the sewers. Are you interested?
No. Kind of looks past you at Midnight, who just eyes slowly widening. Maybe for a little bit. Can I have my companion back? And then Sterling just kind of goes, right, Tank. And Tank moves over, and one hand picks up, just like bound together, just completely just tied in on itself. It's just the steel defender. Well, it would mostly,
it's the
but
wolf that...
yeah, it's just
the wolf.
just tied up, just like looking around robotically as it just lifted like a carry bag by a tank.
Oh, poor thing.
Aurelius is walking up to it like, so that's why the fucking sword didn't get in there.
Fidget will kneel in front of Tedric, finally, like, not towering over him in any way, but meeting him eye to eye. I got your message, by the way, Teddy. If you're serious about it, you're gonna do what needs to be done, yes?
Kind of glances past you at the rest of the group and just slowly nods.
You're gonna travel with the rest of the Blackouts until an actual title and nickname is given, okay?
He nods slowly.
And don't worry, I'm already working on ways of making it so your father don't worry about you or what you were doing with my father. Okay? Must have been really interesting talking to him about me, huh?
He nods slowly. And again, he's very much kind of like idly, like trying to stay slightly distant, but is still very much realizing, I'm being asked to acknowledge.
Did you mention me by name?
Shakes his head.
So he didn't know he was coming here to possibly kill me, yes?
Nods slowly.
That alone is why you're still alive. And she stands up and walks away. He's all yours, Midnight.
Yeah.
Even though she is very much a whisper now, it is very obvious the training of a hammer never leaves.
Of course.
Artemis will look up at Van Sterling. Does the collective have connections in Tanzia?
The harder to keep rooted in, more leaves on the wind. But we do have some.
Aren't
Do
they
you
more
have-
like independent contractors?
Effectively. Go on, TikTok.
Do you have, intelligence gathered on them?
Some.
May I have access to it?
If you can find scribes willing to cough up the information, I'm sure they'll be able to give you what little they have on such short notice.
Alright. I will see about that. One more question, have you ever heard of the family name Lyodin?
He raises a brow at you, and it's clear it's like that. I know it. How do you know it?
She's just kind of waiting before she answers that question.
Go on.
They are my blood.
Your blood. You see, like, confusion amongst most of the others. Just like, what? What is it? I don't know. And he reaches into his pocket and he pulls out a ring. He motions for you to take it.
She'll take it and turn it over in her fingers.
Find a scribe. Show them that. And tell them you are looking for information on Danziel. And tell them to expedite it. On my command.
Thank you.
He nods. My curiosity is piqued, and I'm more than happy to indulge your curiosity here.
I appreciate that. How do you know them?
He looks at you. He slowly sits down, and he takes his cane and he puts it down and he turns it so you can see the top. Most of the time he's had his hand on the top of it. You haven't really gotten to see it. And you look at it, it's the first thing that seems to be indicated to look at, and you see a signet on it. Their signet. And when you look back to him, he has this sudden look to him of his age, as though suddenly he is old, and remembering an old memory from when he was much, much younger. Before he looks up to you with a much hardened, very focused expression. I used to work for them until I realized the depth of what they were doing and chose to make something better.
She'll study him intently, more nodding. I can respect.
You know why.
I was raised into it.
Then you know why. Yes. He pulls the cane back. He taps it a few times. I know the brand. Forgive me. I'm observant. I saw it in passing. Do you want information on that as well?
Please.
He takes out a piece of paper, and you see him scrawl quickly and hand you the piece of paper folded.
She'll take it and she'll open it and look at it, so that she can read it.
It is the mark on your leg. In detail that is one who has seen it before. If needed with the scribes, if they do not know the place by name, they will know it by its symbol. We are a people of symbols and of names. Again, tell them to expedite it.
Of course. Thank you.
He nods. Speaking of, I kind of motions to Teddy, and Teddy just sits there for a moment, and he doesn't move. And you just see Tank just lean over and just haul Teddy to his feet like, what? And you see motion off to the side, and is this silent? Motions again. Yeah? Tank picks him up, like just manhandles him like, hey, put me down! Sets him up behind the table, motions again, and Teddy's like, oh, right. Kind of realizing he is not the person who gets to sit around and loaf around. He's being told, do something. And he's having to actually do things. He's the one being told to do things. And he picks them up and he walks over and he holds them out to Von Sterling, who takes them. And it's a collection of papers. And he holds them up. I knew I remembered the name from somewhere. And it makes sense that they were cavalry who sent these. They didn't know who paid them, only that they were paid good money. To get this to a woman, holds it out, named Serenity.
She looks confused.
I know what they are.
That would be me. It's just paper?
It's paper.
Or,
do you take it?
Yeah.
They're folded paper. They look like they're like bound with twine.
Jim ties it.
They're bound with twine and then bound with twine again in a bundle. And when you untie it, you open one up. They're letters from your family.
Her jaw drops and there's like the faint like clicking sound that you make with your tongue when you're surprised. She'll take a seat and she just starts reading. Like, fuck everything else. Nothing else exists to her right now.
Aurelius will kind of just smile at that. There's almost a kind of longing on his face for a family of his own.
My poor baby. Once she finishes the first, she just stands up. And she'll look towards Fidget Fidget and Von Sterling. I keep forgetting his fucking name.
I try and say it
How
as
do
much
we
as I can.
understand? But yeah, Fidget will meet Serenity's gaze the moment she looks over at her.
Is this you?
What was that?
She asked, was this you? Like, because she just expected this to go to Godai and not back here.
I haven't talked to Godai in a while. But Godai knew to use the cavalry.
Smiles. She looks so close to tears.
I let Godai know who I worked for. He used that information to his and your benefit. You would have gotten those letters whether you took the invitation or not, by the way.
Of course.
She moves up to Fidget and hugs her.
The cavalry, if nothing else, are people of impeccable timing. As Von Sterling just gives a light smile watching the two of you hug.
Yeah, Fidget gives a tight hug, kind of going, I told you, you're practically family.
Thank you.
You suddenly
family.
feel another set of arms hugging you. And you guys slowly look over. You know who it is. As Ember is just, oh, I love this little family. It's so cute. We should celebrate.
I love her so much. Oh my god.
Oh,
I knew who it was before you even finished this sentence. Another set of arms.
Yeah. Fidget looks up confused at Ember before laughing, kind of going, I think I got a few things I gotta talk to Von Sterling about.
Oh, don't worry. We've
Before
got
I
like
can celebrate.
all week. I'm sure we could bring in like something from the oh god, do they have anything from Nepal? I could get something traditional. We could wear like dresses, or have you worn one of those like really weird noble looking outfits? You shouldn't. They're tight and they make you feel like but they look really nice.
Are you talking about a corset?
Is that what they're called? Ugh. The name
you
sounds
trying-
like it's trying to kill you, but they look so
Are
good.
you trying to get me in a dress?
Artemis
think-
is slipping out of, edging away, slipping out of the room.
Yeah. You don't have to wear a dress. You can wear whatever you want.
Fidget,
At
Fidget
this
taps
point-
her spy's murmur and
Yep.
just in her head goes, go find Crazy Adi. I know you got a lot on your mind and he probably knows the scribe better than I do.
Yes, and you make sure to find an escape route out of there before they start messing you up.
Escape. I love these two.
Aurelius witnesses what is happening, sees Fidget's like discomfort, and just kind of steps in. I'm pretty sure I've seen a guy wearing a corset in the north.
I have heard of people doing that. Oh my, oh, your waist. I could see it. I could see it. Oh man. Get that.
Midnight,
Aurelius looks
Midnight,
looks
don't
at
you-
Fidget
No,
and
but
just like,
Midnight,
"Go,
don't
go,
you
get
wear?
out."
Don't you have a corset?
I have two.
And she'll just kind of like slink away once, kind of adding other
Run,
people
run.
in the conversation, and she'll head over to Von Sterling, just like, we have a little bit we need to discuss, don't we?
I'm sure we do.
I'm gonna say that Artemis heard that bit about Midnight having a couple corsets and just her ears turned pink at the mental image.
I have two. What do you mean you have two? I'm just gonna keep moving.
It's one for Monday and one for Thursday.
Ah! Here the spies murmur. Serenity does go, the thing that I meant to mention to you and Aurelius Artemis. Victus gave me a bit of knowledge.
Artemis has already slipped out of the room.
Through the
Spice
spies murmur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Victus gave me a bit of knowledge. Apparently I have an older sister.
Is that not a good thing?
She's a paladin.
All
Why
right,
do
I
we
see
all
the
have
problem.
siblings? Why do we all have siblings that are paladins?
Fidget answers back going, I don't know if my brother's a paladin. He just entered the church.
You hear
That's just as bad.
Aurelius is sitting there like, Fucking paladins. Very full aware.
You can feel her eyes on your forehead.
Aurelius, just like still mid conversation with Ember and Midnight, just looks over with this evil smile on his face.
I'm happy I'm not associated with the church. Well, I mean, I don't really know my family. But they're not really family if I don't know them, so it doesn't count.
I never knew my
Families-
family either. I was adopted.
I was taught that family is who you make it out to be.
Aurelius, I thought that someone left you in a hole and the church just decided to pick you up.
It's a lot more complicated than that, but I'm not going to give you my entire fucking life story of the spies map.
Screaming at the door. It's not the usual one.
Don't worry, I was also left on the doorstep as a random doorstep as a baby.
Me, it was more of a... I was brought to a hospital and my mother allegedly died giving birth to me.
What the hell? Just over the spies murmur.
Just idle trauma dumping over the spies murmur.
I like the thought that they're going back and forth, like, zero, like, fucking... to them, it's normal, and then Serenity's in the middle, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's very casual.
Yeah, and Fidget will
Yes.
motion to Tank, like, kind of like, I'm gonna need your help. I'm part of this conversation with Von Sterling.
Fidget just gets a message from Serenity going, "You left me here."
Oh my gosh,
You were
Serenity, you would look great in... And have you heard of Ruffles?
What is Ruffles?
Yes and no.
With the moment Ruffles are mentioned, Fidget's
Step
all
out.
she might as well have clicked her boots of haste.
Go on, babe. Zip.
Not me actually looking up what Ruffles are.
Fidget has
It's
left
on
the
the
chat.
dress. On the dress, they are like a way that the dress looks.
It's frills.
It's
Basically,
frilly.
Yeah, very frilly.
That like old
Yeah.
that old like fucking 1500 style. Oh, that's sick.
Yeah.
Like, and the worst part is like, I have some dresses that have frills, but it's very light, so that's why it's cute. Serenity's
Like
just
that-
thinking of the multiple frills and going, "Don't you come near me."
Aurelius is thinking of that kind of like Lady Maria style like collar thrill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, fuck, I know what you're talking about. I can't really
The cravat.
have it.
It's a
Oh,
cravat.
Yep.
Yeah, and he's like, he's like trying to describe it anyway.
Meanwhile, Midnight and Ember are like prowling around, saying like, "We could put her in frills. She would look so pretty." In a comedic
Help!
way. As
You just hear from Fidget just to Serenity going, "You found yourself a girly girl."
You're like a mouse being circled by vultures.
Aurelius is just watching with an evil smile. Does
That
that
wa-
little like flirtatious hand wave as he walks out and goes to like
Eleanor is
practice his
still
swordsmanship.
there. So
Yeah, no,
Eleanor?
it's- I'm just gonna say Aurelius is gone to do like sword training or whatever, so I can like step away from the microphone for longer than 30 seconds.
no worries. Velenor's like against the wall, looking at Tank, just like, "Uh-oh."
and
Look at
Fidget,
me.
no, Fidget had pulled Tank
Oh.
with her to the top.
Yeah. He looked at Tank as Tank is dragged away, just like, "Oh no, I'm being left here."
Brother, help! When I talk about Velinor, I have to do some light reading. I mean, he would look wonderful in a suit as she's backing away from Midnight and Ember.
I left you with the fashionistas.
Get away!
I
don't
knew
have
what I knew what I created when I created this too.
course.
I don't have
Also-
time in my life to draw fucking Serenity's ref and outfits. God damn it!
I think there's also a bit of if they all know just by looking at Artemis, if they put her in a dress, she will chew her way out of it.
Of course.
Not rip, not burn, not cut, chew like a possum.
Of course.
Fidget will just have her sword out the moment somebody comes at her with this.
I mean, the worst Serenity was gonna say was like, you might look good in a pantsuit, but
Now you put her in any fancy clothes, she's gonna chew her way out of it.
No style, no class, no grace, only gremlin raccoon mode.
Only dumpster
Exactly. You have an undomesticated girlfriend.
undomesticated.
She's not housebroken.
She has never been housebroken.
Look, at this point, she looked at this little gremlin, picked her up, and went, I want this one.
I'll take it. How much?
You decided, yeah, you said, I want this cat. Man, that cat is a raccoon.
But
Man,
yeah,
that cat is orange.
But yeah, if you want to do the crazy arty stuff first.
I'm good either way.
I think that'll be good for potentially next session, depending on how long this goes.
Okay.
So we'll go with you and Tank as you step away with Vince Sterling.
Delicious.
Don't worry, Tank. I'm only gonna have you here for a little bit. I can't write.
Oh!
And I need your help with something Von Sterling had asked me to do.
Gives a thumbs up.
And it needs to be written because there are eyes here. And ears everywhere, unfortunately.
He gives a nod.
Von Sterling, I did pay attention to the group as you asked. And, though it would be easy for me to say that it was Silvertongue as the one wasn't on your side, I think I have an idea on another one.
He nods. He motions for you to write it down.
Yeah, she'll, in order, she will say, have Tank write down Razor, Midnight, and Ember.
He writes them down.
And Fidget will look around just a bit before tapping to one of them, and I will say, I think you know which one I'm tapping.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I know. He looks at it, and he looks back to you, and he gives it's the faintest of shrugs. To be expected, but we can still work with that. Have a seat.
And she'll look at Tank going, you're free to go.
He like looks at the list, looks back to you, and like is trying to process that before he nods and steps away. When the door clicks behind you, Von Sterling like looks at the chair and the desk that's set up in this other room, and he sighs, grabs a pillow, tosses it on the floor, and he sits on it.
Fidget will do the same. Kind of one of those, it's not supposed to be a stuffy conversation anymore. And she'll sit across from him.
You've rised above adversity. How does it feel?
It's good to know that you guys never actually lost faith in me, despite everything.
There were worries, but worries more about things said by others. And Silvertongue was, well, Silvertongue. We don't know where he went. We don't know if he's even in the city or even the country. We've had people searching for him, just in case, after what happened. Better that he be found and detained than to wander aimlessly, especially considering his actions.
And the information he holds due to us.
I don't know if he can articulate that information, not out of a lack of intelligence, but out of lack of
sanity.
He was breaking down. And while we did speak to him of trying to determine what it was that had happened with him, The only thing that made sense that he'd done that no one else had was he'd over-attuned to items. Attuned to more items than anyone I know of.
He was a collector of sorts.
It was his addiction of sorts. I've seen him
trying to make it nice because he saw me as part of his collection.
I'm not making it nice. He doesn't deserve that respect. He did not earn it after losing it. And there's a seriousness to his voice, a hardness to his eyes for a moment, and then it softens again.
It's a habit, sir.
I'm aware.
After what? Yeah.
I'm aware. I'm voicing this pointedly for you to tell to yourself as well. What happened, I should have stopped. I should have done more, but he should have stopped. He should have been the first to do so. He should never have done what he did to you. And the people,
for the first time, Fidget can't meet his eyes.
And the people in that other room will be good to you. I watched.
I want to thank you for your trust in me for doing this.
You have never lacked faith from me. I have always believed in you, in your potential.
I don't know what he did to my memories, Von Sterling, but all I remembered was you hating the hammers.
There's a lack of dignity in calling someone a hammer the way that D'Artez does. He calls a hammer, holding it as a weapon. I hate the way Corvin has made hammers. You were sent as forward units, a strike force, soldiers. Might as well call you that at that point. Your friend Serenity shows wisdom, as does Aurelius. Forgive me. Wolfsbane and going to need to be reminded. Duality, yes. More interesting names to learn. He smiles fondly.
And
they spoke correctly to think of themselves as people with the tools to get things done. A different way than some, but tools all the same.
I couldn't have chosen better for the group if I tried.
You found them, and so long as they show you respect and you in turn show them respect, I can only imagine they will remain among your greatest assets.
They've always been that way since I met them. I think we're good.
He nods.
I'm sure you have stuff you need to tell me about because my memory is bad. But it's a major favor. and I will pay the price that comes with it. Collective speaking to collective. My father showed up.
And he is in
Yeah.
good hands. I already found him. Wasn't hard to find with Iceberg.
Is there a way for him to stay protected in the collective for now?
He was passed a note by a member of the collective, currently still recognized as collective. He can keep his note.
It's more to keep him away from D'Artes and,
I'm aware. I would not wish
Now-
D'Artes upon anyone.
while we were making our way through the tunnels to get to the safe house by the end of the day yesterday, we found something very interesting in those tunnels. Part of my family's history has been scattered through the collective. My father's family's history of the Bowmans and who they were. And I'm worried that D'Artes has spread it out all through Cormundum to make it very, very difficult for my father to get his name back.
Of course he did. And he reaches into his jacket. He pulls out a number of documents. He holds it out to you. Yes, I know you can't read. Take them.
She'll take the documents. Were you keeping tabs on the Bowman as D'Artes?
D'Artes made too many plays. He tried to think of himself as a great chess master, but he kept playing the same game. It was like being able to read a child about to push something over that he wasn't supposed to.
And his favorite thing to push over was the Bowman family.
How do you think I found you?
Because of D'Artes?
Because of D'Artes.
Was that why I was recruited?
That's why you were recruited under me. Otherwise, you'd have been under D'Artes, and
I wouldn't have lasted a month.
you would have. Well, you might have.
Not the actual me. Whatever he wanted me to be would have lasted.
Wherever he molded you to be. Yes.
What he was trying to do to the group.
Something he struggled with moves I made. Interceptions, if you will. And he lashed back, made his plays, and then floundered when I made very simple, I suppose you might call them amateur moves. So obvious that he didn't know how to react to them and had to let them go. After all, it's quite hard to take you when you have someone like Tank always at your side. It's hard to take you when you are interacting with one of the greater hotspots of scribe information gathering and platinum work as your main source of enjoyment.
True.
wanted to stick his fingers in. While I held a knife to his throat.
And this is why you were able to get the collective out of Corvin, yes?
I simply told the group we were leaving and didn't tell him. We just left. He looks very smug about it.
You know what, that seems about right, actually. I have one more thing I'd like to ask, and it is very selfish of me to ask this. My mother has kind of gone off the grid. Nobody knows where she is. According to my dad, it's been 1.5 years, which isn't very long after I left. If there's any way to find information on her, if there's anything I need to do, or price that needs to be paid, or job that needs to be done to get the information, I'm willing to do it. But according to my dad, she knew where I was the entire time I was with you guys. And I never knew.
He looks baffled by that statement. Everything else, he's like, okay, yeah, that's something we can do. She knew the whole time. Baffled. Confused. Does not compute.
She told my dad that she was checking up on me. And he thought that I had been in communication with my mother and just didn't want to talk to him.
He looks confused, and he, after a moment, leans back slightly. I will see about who can get that information. I would imagine that the payment will be knowing how she knew of your situation. She is not collective. And so far as I have been aware, she should have no knowledge of our dealings. As far as I'm aware, though.
The only link, and it's taken me a long time to think of any possible reason. He was with my father when my father was running with D'Artez when they were younger. I don't know if there was bad blood between her and D'Artez. I just know the bad blood was toward my father.
You wish to know that as well?
There's part of me that would like to know.
I will see what I can find. Fair?
If it's fair. If there's only one of the parts of the information you can get, I just want to make sure my mother's alive.
Finding her will be the first part then. Agreed?
Agreed. I mean, my little brother ended up in the fucking clergy.
Oh,
I just want to make sure he's okay. I don't... Seth apparently made it so that they wouldn't tell my father which order he joined.
I don't know if that's better or worse.
When I talked to Nuzanor a while ago, I kind of had an idea, because he said that my brother had a coming to God moment. and kind of narrows it down. So I at least know my little brother is alive. As for the extent of what type of sheep he is, I haven't a clue.
I will look into it.
It is appreciated, sir.
Holy shit!
Bless you. Are you okay?
I will be fine.
Grandpa broke a rib!
Before I leave you to it, sir, is there anything that you wish to speak to me about?
Go enjoy some time with your group.
Thank you,
earned
sir.
it.
Thank you, sir. And she'll stand up and leave, and I believe Paris was saying Serenity wants to talk to him.
I don't know if Serenity knows exactly what room he's in, so...
She'll see. It's just a small offshoot room.
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
You'd be able to see Fidget leaving the room.
It's like outside the door, just leaned against the wall, half zoned the fuck out.
And then we could put, maybe some lace. I mean, it's a little extra fancy. It's
Ember,
very expensive.
Ember,
Hi,
Ember.
how are you? Now we can put lace on
walk
you.
and talk with me. No, walk and talk with me. Leave Serenity alone, okay?
She like hooks her arm into yours and kind of half drags you away. Like, we can put lace on you. Oh my goodness, it will bring out your complexion.
And there's in the spy's murmur, Serenity just hears, "You're welcome."
So, takes her a second, and you can see, like, she blinks back into reality, essentially.
And you see Van
Before
Sterling
she's
just
like, thank you.
Yeah, you see Van Sterling just kind of looking at you, waiting.
I imagine at this point Aurelius and Tank are off sparring somewhere.
Is that where my quarterstaff went?
Look, I don't think Tank wants to use the quarterstaff against the big fucking hunk of metal.
Oh no, I feel like he would take that as a challenge. One of you would, but she goes into the office, closes the door. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. I'm not good at all the grandstanding. So I'm going to say this as bluntly as possible. I have a favor to ask of you. Not as collective, not as duality, but as serenity. As someone who has worked with you despite not being part of your organization. She looks so nervous. She's not used to talking up to CEO fuckers.
And he looks at you, and he takes a seat on his pillow again, and he motions for you to take a seat either in a chair, on the pillow, on the floor itself, to pace around the room. He doesn't mind. He just sits down, waits for you to keep going.
Take a seat. I have recently found out that apparently I have a sister. And I need help with locating her. Or at least a better idea of where her whereabouts might be. And you seem to have your fingers in a lot of pies across the country. Wanted to ask if you could help me find her.
What's her name?
Gwendolyn Bleskin.
He kind of crosses his arms and he considers for a moment. Where are you going next? You and your group.
It depends. either we're most likely going to be stopping by Dragonsby, but I need to make my way. Ooh, excuse me. If I remember correctly, this is roughly where Serenity needs to go, but I can't fucking remember. You mentioned the mountains.
Why are you pinging over near your home?
That's not the home. She doesn't need to go. Oh wait, the mountain's over there. Silver Crossing. I'm an idiot.
Yes, you are. I didn't say Silver Crossing.
Where are the mountains that she needs to go?
Bring your eyes over here. No, over here. Here.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Next to the other place we need to go to.
I see it.
Of Nerobee.
Yeah. Dragonsby is most likely going to be where we stop first, but it's either after that, back to my home, or to Nerobee.
Dragonsby is close enough, and a good place to start.
I'm gonna tilt her head at that.
I'm not going to ask you a foolish question. I'm going to give you a solid command. Can you handle that?
She nods her head.
You are going to trust me. Am I understood?
Yes, sir.
He nods like, good. This is working well. I will do this for you. Reaches in to a not into a jacket pocket. He stands up and he goes to a desk and he pulls out a tube that he puts a letter into. And he seals it and then seals it again with wax. He sits down and he offers it to you.
Confused, but she'll take it.
Here's where I'm going to say you need to trust me. And you will trust me and obey this command. There is a forest near Dragonsby, off to the west. Within that forest, there is a maze. You will find your way through the maze. I have confidence in you and your group. To the best of your abilities, do no harm. Defend yourself if you must, but do no harm. And deliver that to the one at the end of the maze. In their cave. They will not be expecting you, but the message will be clear enough. Any questions?
She shakes her head.
Kind of raises a brow at that.
Well, I can't imagine there'll be many people at the end of the maze. So unless you're sending me to a village, finding a person and delivering a message seems rather simple.
He raises a brow, and there's a slight uncomfortable smile. Not like he's uncomfortable, but it makes you feel uncomfortable as he smiles.
She arches her eyebrow.
I told you to be willing to learn. Do not fear asking questions, even if you are told not to ask them.
She just takes a deep breath. She was holding back some curiosity. What exactly is this message that you're having me deliver, and will this get me killed?
Do no harm, except in self-defense, and you will avoid dying.
Who is this message to?
They're known as Lurlanus the Beautiful.
I expect when I meet this person?
A dragon.
Oh, she stiffens up. And very slightly, and I don't know if I can emulate the voice crack, but I will do my best to. Excuse me?
You will go to Dragonsby and deliver a message from me to Lerilanus the Beautiful at the end of a maze within the forest, in a cave where the dragon's home is made, with the understanding that you are to do no harm unless attacked first. And I would prefer Lerilanus be alive at the end of this. I do so need their services still.
Say that as if Lerilanus might attack me.
Get into too many scuffles, and they just might. It is always a possibility.
Suppose I should count myself lucky that I'm rather persuasive?
Count yourself lucky that you will have an insignia that should hold them at bay long enough to have a discussion.
What type of dragon is she? Excuse me, they.
I would presume you know nothing of dragons.
Gone.
No. The Paladin Order did not care about dragons. They cared about the undead and fiends.
Hey, considering Tiamat, I don't know.
Tiamat's not in this. This is my world.
Aurelius likes stories of dragons and knights in shining armor.
Aurelius, get back over here and spar.
Get back in the corner.
I'm gonna beat your ass, boy. Get over here.
Tank just fucking putting his hand on Aurelius' fucking face and dragging him back in. She just
I'm gonna
shakes her
fucking
head.
break
No.
from that. No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Yes, you fucking are.
No.
Yes,
I only know the stories, and even then they are vague.
Within forests, usually more areas like jungles, I can promise you it's not likely metallic. They are a green-scaled dragon. And if you think you will see her before, him before you see him before he sees you, you are entirely mistaken. Lerilanus says a he, by the way. Fuck you, he's green. Yes.
I am not so arrogant to believe that I would see a dragon coming, especially not in their own territory.
Wise.
Big they may be, but smart they are also. They would know how to use their surroundings to stay hidden, unless they desire to be otherwise.
You learned
It wouldn't be a
quickly.
predator if it wasn't good at it.
It wouldn't be an apex predator if it wasn't capable of such things. And they will remind you of that. But that would only remain such a way if they don't try and kill you and test that theory. The hope is that they do not learn the truth. Do not be so smart-wit that you let on Fair.
She nods her head.
Now, I believe Ember was going off about something about lace and frills. I'm sure
She just sighs.
I'm sure you wish to avoid that by fighting and sparring and the like, and I'm sure there are many ways to celebrate without having to get into such eccentricities. Go. You've had 3 days of stress. You and the group deserve some time to unwind. You are part of us now, and you will be treated with the respect you give others. And you have shown more than a modicum for me, and so I will return the gesture. Very well.
Nods. My father did tell me to respect my elders. She has a faint smirk.
I'm not that old. Well, he kind of pauses as he's about to stand up, thinking about it. It looks like he's counting in his head.
He'll stand up and offer like her hand to help him up.
He takes it and he stands up. He like gently pops his back a little, and he's like cracks his neck. I'll be older soon enough, and I'll keep getting older.
You may not be that old, but you are still older than me. That makes you my elder.
He walks over and he just walks out the door, leaves it open for you to follow.
To walk out, see Ember, take a deep breath, and then walk towards her.
And
Smash cut to Tank throwing Aurelius across the room.
Like, it's not that she minds the talk of, like, fashion, it's just that Ember is so energetic that she can't digest everything she says.
Fidget had brought Ember over to the sparring area in hopes to distract her with Aurelius.
And eventually, when she watches Aurelius just go, woo! He's like, oh, look, there he goes.
Ooh, that brother's flying in the air.
That's a wall. Ooh.
Safety roll, safety roll.
Safety roll!
You managed to roll and not have your face planted into the wall. You're like, ee! And Tank goes, good. Very good.
You're Serenity clapping when she sees that shit.
Come here. Do again.
Okay.
Hold on.
Aim higher. Let's see if we can't get me to the top of that. See that bar there on the roof?
Roof. We're not outside.
He means the rafters.
Ah, yes. But on that note, as you guys are having some fun with that, next week we will get into Artemis.
Not next week.
Next week. 2 weeks, correct. Next week we are not having session. We will be down too many players. Far too many. Far too many.
So unless it's just me and Paris just kind of sitting here, like, putting Serenity and Aurelius on a treadmill, I guess.
I'm like, Serenity and Aurelius adventures, like, they've been left in the city. What will they do?
See, my big thing is, how are you going to log into Comp's Twitch?
It'll be fine.
So I'll just DOS him and...
No, don't do that. I need this. But...
Do you?
Yeah, I mean, no, I don't need it, but I like being able to share these experiences.
Yeah.
But that being said, we will have our next session on the 11th of September. And we will... shush. And we will go about continuing having a little bit more of unwind, decompress time for everyone to get situated with stuff, as well as get to play up things like Aurelius taking his level in Fighter, Fidget taking her level into Warlock, and perhaps one use of Artemis just going, hey, look, I got a new thing! Kaboom!
I say, hey, look at this cool thing I found, Bomb.
Hey, Comp, how many episodes are we at now?
This is the episode 50. We're 2 episodes.
We're 2 away, and it'll be a year.
I love that episode 50. Halfway to 100 is the day that we have joined the fucking Mafia.
You're welcome.
It's fucking great.
I planted this to make it so we have resources.
Believe me, I know. Serenity's already using them.
I mean,
Artemis just wondering what the fuck y'all know about the people she's allegedly related to.
So
allegedly.
far, none
Only
of
Von
them.
Sterling knows.
None of them know anything. You just gave a name, which if you want to type that out into the chat so they can have it in notes for later, you can absolutely do so.
Leodan.
Leodan.
I know
And-
that only, I think, once when Artemis introduced herself and it was to Gadai, did she say her full name.
Yep. And you've heard it here again today as something that Von Sterling took note of, but didn't go into details on.
Nope, just was there to help.
Yep, enough that you can look at later, I'm sure. But that will be for later. For those who are after session, of course. But those who are watching with us and enjoying, thank you all so much. We greatly appreciate your time just watching these. It's always a great time. For those who are watching on Twitch, I will post these onto my channel. It's Uncommon Guru with the tags falling under Cormundum Chaos.
If you want to see where...
No, I'm supposed to have Cormundum Chaos and I had it turned off. No.
Burp.
If you want to see where we've come from and how far the audio quality has come...
Yes.
Ugh.
I'm sorry. It was bad at the beginning.
It was coming out of your computer.
It was.
It's pretty dodgy, not gonna lie, but honestly, it's still worth it, I reckon. Just to see where we started and where we're at now, nearly a year in. The development of these characters is fascinating to me, and if you're interested in that type of thing, I highly recommend it. The channel on Twitch is twitch.tv/WhatTeamComp. We're here effectively every Monday. Not next Monday, obviously, but the Monday after that, we'll be back. Yeah, that's about it.
Yep, we try and stream it around 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and hopefully we will see you there. And if not, we hope you continue to enjoy this content. We have a lot of fun making it. And until next time, we're WhatTeamComp. We'll see you all later. Bye-bye!
Bye.